Um, hey guys. Oh wow. Okay. Two things I wanna say before we start on this. First, we have dogs outside, and I'm taking this real time because I don't use over voice, whatnot. It's just too much work. We'll get there. So if something bugs, forgive me, it's the dogs. And two, why do people love ownership so much? Like, gosh, Rose's niece, really? It could have been Lynn's. It could have been Lynn's with a double E, Lynn's with an I. It just had to be Rose's niece. But anyhow, thank you for these. I have had them for some time now, but since I've been talking a lot of crap on this video, I just say thank you for getting me this. I love them so much. So what do we talk about today? What are we gonna talking about? Well, what will we be talking about? Whew. What are your default settings? This is a very important topic to me. Well, all topics are important to me, but then I thought I would talk about this today, and it's been on my mind for some time. And really, what the hell? We might as well just do it now, hey? So I have my journal with me. Um, Woo! That's my write up, but it's quite long, hey? So what are your default settings when faced with something that makes your mind race, like that makes your blood boil? What do you how do you react? What are your default settings? When your partner tells you, I've just cheated on you, when your friend backstabs you, and maybe when a dog wants to jump you, like what do you do? Like, what are your default settings? Do you run? Do you negotiate? My favorite. Do you negotiate? Do you fight? Do you freeze? What do you do? What are your default settings? So I'll just go to one story I have. Before, like, I was still in high school, and I was walking from home to the bus stop. And as I was walking down, there was a man there, so scary, like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay, what the hell? Anyhow, when I got to him, and I was meant to just pass by, but he stopped me. He's like, bring your phone. And I'm like, oh wow. Like, I just froze, but then I just gave it to him because, well, he just asked for it. I don't want to fight. But then as I was giving it to him, I was like, can I at least get my SIM card first? So I just realized, and I was thinking about that story, I just realized that I'm the type of a person, I love negotiating. Well, that's because that's what my default settings are. Whenever I'm faced with something that is like dangerous, or I feel like I'm in danger, I first want to figure out what can I do, like how can I negotiate my way out. That's how I've always conditioned myself for a very long time. Even when we'd be discussing with my friends, we'd be talking about this, and I'd be like, you know what, if I would be faced with this, or a dog wants to jump me, always my first response would be, I'd negotiate. Like, chill, man. We don't have to fight. You want the phone? Don't touch anything else. I'll give you the phone. So, but then, what are your default settings? I think it's very important for a person to be aware of what their default settings are. Like, what is the first thing that you do when you are faced with some sort of danger? I know everyone has their theory that, let's just use being jumped by a thug. Like, everyone has a theory of saying the thug is also scared. So if you fight, they'll possibly just let you go. But then that's a theory, and it possibly worked on someone else. But maybe if I could fight, then damn it, I'd be dead. But then we really need to master what our default settings, not master, but we need to know what our default settings are, so that we can know whether we need to change them or we need to enhance them. Because some situations will find you unprepared, and your default settings will kick in. So if you've always told yourself, I'm fighting, you will find it easy to fight. But if you've always told yourself, I'm running, it would be always easy to run. But if, like me, you always tell yourself, I'm going to negotiate my way out, then that's what you're going to do. So what is the best way? We need to find the almost perfect way to really deal with confrontations. how do you deal with it? But there's no one formula, of course. It's just that we'll focus on the violence part of everything. You don't have to use it across the board, because, well, just imagine someone confronts you and you start running, and really you don't have to run, you have to face it. Anyhow, like, I'm going to touch base on the importance of preparedness. Like, just like every building has that fire escape plan, and every now and then we have fire drills, and people practice what they have to do when actual fire would come. That's the same thing you need to have with your own life, with certain situations. You need to have a response plan. Like, you need to have an escape plan. What do you do? Even though when we have those fire drills, some people, of course, will do everything that we are taught not to do, but at least 90% of the people would be saved. And those are the chances. It's a risk thing. You have to find out, like, what works. But bottom line is, you need to be prepared. So the question is, what are your default settings? What do you have to do? What is your escape plan? So let's talk about preparedness, the importance, steps to preparedness. I am no guru of this. I'm still learning myself, but hey, it doesn't harm to learn together. So preparedness, what do we do? Well, one thing for sure that I can tell you, it's gonna take a whole lot of work than just one day of meditation, visualization. But like, you've been like this almost your whole life, so now you have to change it. So like they say, one drop of sweetness will not change the taste of the whole bitter jar. So you need to put in the work. It's one step at a time, of course. So I mentioned visualization. Visualize yourself in the situation. Like, create a clear picture of you being whatever your fear is. Mine is being jumped. Like, picture yourself being confronted by this thug, like, what do you do? So you're changing. You're telling your brain what you would do, like what you're supposed to do. Do this over and over and over. I don't know when you'd ever be able to test it. I don't know how we can actually test it, but yeah, with the visualization, you have to, like, picture yourself in this situation. Like, visualize yourself being jumped by someone, you understand? So you can choose. Now you are in control. You are in a controlled environment. You're not in the actual situation where you could possibly be jumped. So you can choose, like, what are you going to do? You can decide that, okay, I'm going to visualize myself running, but definitely you should know your strengths. I'm not a fast runner, so I cannot then choose running, because most probably they'll just get me whilst I'm trying to take off. No, I know your strengths, and also you can visualize yourself maybe trying to fight. I don't know what would work for you, but most importantly, don't, like, figure out what would be the best situation when faced with danger. Like, what do you do? Okay, we'll bring in the second possible solution, not solution, but way, like, to protect yourself, as using the SOS app on Android phones. Like, you can just go to your settings and search for SOS, and you put in the details there, your details, and the person who you want the SOS to be sent to. And after that, communicate that you've done that, so that they know that, like, when you press the SOS button, like, when you press the off button on your phone, they'll give you instructions, of course. They know that you definitely are in danger. Communicate, and don't choose just anyone. Choose someone who would actually help you out. I remember a friend of mine shared on her Facebook how she was in a situation where she was in a combi and in a taxi. She was the only one there, and this thugs wanted to jump her, and she just pressed on the thingy on the phone, like, and the SOS was sent to her sister and relatives, and they started calling there and there. They were following, and because it also sends the where you are. What is it? Yeah, you know what I mean. And they were calling her, until the thugs were like, you know what, it's not worth it, they're possibly following us right now, and they dropped her off. So you can imagine if she wasn't prepared and if she didn't know really what to do in a situation, but she had conditioned herself to know that, you know, when I'm in danger, I'm gonna press on the SOS thingy and people will come and help me. Preparedness. Be prepared. And also importantly, when you are leaving, when you're going somewhere, make sure somebody knows that you are going to town and you expect to be back by 3, and ensure that by 3, if you're not, you are having any problems, call, because that person is actually waiting up on you. Call and say, you know what, I'm running late. This is the preparedness of everything, so that when anything possibly can happen, so that when something happens, they know where you are, and when you don't come back by a certain time, they know they need to be worried. Don't just disappear. Like, it's a cruel world out there. And also you can have your pepper sprays, tasers. I'm scared of a taser because of the sound it makes, but preparedness, I need to be prepared. Like, I have to, now in a controlled environment, I have to keep using it so that whenever I'm being attacked, I'm in control and I know what my default setting is. Like, I can just fight, I can just use that taser gun. And yeah, those are just a few things that I've mentioned. There's an arsenal of ways and tactics that you can use, but those are also disposable, or are at your disposal. Those are at your disposal. You can just Google them and find that out. It's a cruel world and we need to work on being. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, comment, and hey now, enjoy your day. Mwah.